What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling? The moon's in Aquarius, and I find that this is a great time. Aquarius has that very strong mental energy, and I feel that if you haven't been feeling inspired or been getting into just really stuck in the headspace, which is like, what can we do to redirect that energy? This can be a really great time to just be cater to take care of your thoughts, to maybe bring in some affirmations and things to kind of help kind of break up that fixity a little bit. But we'll definitely get into that and more here in a moment. But before we do, if you're new to this channel, again, welcome. My name is Justin, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placements. Sun, moon, rising, maybe Saturn, wherever. This one's for you. Or if you just want to set intentions with the moon. We're Cancerians here. We always have space for you. And I also do tarot card spreads. Base of our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going to avoid. Of course, there's all them lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Because, yes, that moon in Aquarius. These are always kind of interesting times for me personally, considering that she's, like, opposing all of my Leo placements on top of, like, all my other... I have a lot of fixed energy in my chart. Well, she's conjunct my Saturn, so that's kind of a bonus. But, yeah, that's always a very... It's a coin toss sometimes. But, you know what, actually, let's change... Look at how I got even caught up in a narrative. I love the moon in Aquarius. They always bring me great insights. And see, you know what? Before I talk about this moon placement, depending on when you're watching this, I'm going to shuffle your cards here. Happy Venus Day. Venus is associated with Fridays. And I find when we're talking about Venus, Venus is how we attract things. She's how we magnetize, how we experience beauty. So I like Venus days for these are like my designated shaving days. And just like days to just really kind of check in. Like maybe this could be where maybe you run to get your nails done. Or maybe you're wanting to get a new shirt, new pants, new socks, whatever that's looking like. Maybe you want to go out to to a concert. Maybe you want to go to a museum, go to like an art exhibit, something along those lines. Doing like very Venusian things can really just help you get into just a better state of being. And even working with Venus hours, I'll tell you what, when the schedule when my schedule lines up really well. Thank you, Spirit. I've even found, I remember getting my hair cut once during, it was like a Venus day during a Venus sign. I want to say Venus was in one of her home signs, I think, when this was happening. And I got a haircut then, and I'll tell you what, it was on point. Oh, it was looking sharp. So play around with that as well. But even schedule, maybe that could be a great time to schedule some dates as well. So, or even again, just some kind of hangouts or things along those lines. So, and one thing that I also like to do as well when we're working with these different planetary days is thinking about your relationship with Venus and your Venus placement as far as like, where is she located? What is she doing? Do you have any transits right now that are affecting Venus? What is that kind of looking like there? And how, again, what is that? And think about it versus like a day and a night chart, because in a night chart, Venus is your benefic. She's the one that's really bringing it for you. So that could be something even to just kind of get, just the more that you can strengthen that relationship, the more effective that tool works for you. Now let's get into the lunar shenanigans, because the moon is going to be entering into Aquarius on the 11th of October, and that'll be at about 9:31 a.m. That's going to be Pacific time, and she's in a waxing gibbous phase. And now the waxing gibbous is a time of adjustments. This is a time of kind of perfecting whatever intention that you set off. And now it's like you took that action during the first quarter, and it's just like, okay, this part of it was working. This other part of it, okay, I need to make some shifts here. I need to make some pivots, kind of analyze. And it's just like, how can I better integrate this into my everyday? We're getting a lot more light as she's getting closer to that full moon phase. But specifically when we're talking about the moon in Aquarius, Aquarius traditionally is ruled by Saturn. And their modality is this fixed nature. So they have the staying power. The fixed signs, that's Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus, they have this tenacity, this stamina to set aside whatever the cardinal energies are initiating. They hold that energy. And they're air in nature, so there's a mental communication that comes with them. And their gender is masculine, so there's this active nature that's happening as well. So I find when we're thinking about this moon in Aquarius, has there been a certain mindset that you've been kind of caught up in? Have there been maybe some kind of distractions, or whether this be any sort of like doubts, any sort of fears, anxieties, depression, whatever that may be? And how can we break that wind up a little bit? How can we get the air more kind of flowing in and change the directions of the wind a little bit, or maybe even a lot of it, depending on maybe where you're at with this? Because even as you saw earlier, I was like, oh, the moons in Aquarius are interesting. It's like, you know what? Where have you been speaking like those sort of like, oh, this always happens, or things never happen to go like this? Because if we keep doing that, then that's what's going to keep happening. But when we change our relationships with this, oh, okay, I've noticed that these things to happen. What am I learning from this? Where is this? What is Spirit trying to teach me? I find it just gives you a different approach to it. And then it just helps you to, I feel, even working with like vision boards can be very helpful for Aquarius energy. Or even just like if you have your writing down your ideas and things along those lines. Because sometimes if we keep things too much in the headspace, they can be influenced a lot by external things. So even just having this stuff kind of written down, or maybe even have like a voice recording, something along those lines. And that could be even something too, if you're not sure, if there's been a lot of mental chatter, doing things like that to help see what is going on in the space, so that you can get this kind of objectivity and see what's going on internally, so that you can make any sort of call like, oh, I've noticed that I have been doing this, that. And so those are just some ways that I feel that you could kind of work with this moon in Aquarius energy. But really wanted to real like with them being ruled by Saturn. One more thing with Aquarius, I do believe with them, theirs is a sign that, especially with them, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. But it takes that mental discipline, and there is so much stimuli that is coming at us, especially now with Jupiter being retrograde in Gemini. Just paying attention to, as well as like, what are some things that just like I may have taken on my own that have just like been distractions, or just sort of like that have been impeding me from my North Star, that star energy that Aquarius is embodied in the tarot. So those are some things there. Now let's get into the void of course. The void of course is going to be happening on Sunday, the 13th of October, and it'll be going from 4:08 a.m. to about 12:55 p.m. So we're looking at about an 8-hour, 47-minute void of course time. And the final aspect that she forms with the celestial body usually flavors that void of course. And I'm working with the traditional planets when I'm talking about this. And she's forming a square with Venus. Now, normally when we're talking about the void of course, this usually isn't a time to start up anything new. This is a time to wrap up any sort of things that you may have gotten started. When I say new, I mean like brand new things. But if you have this intention that you started up and you wanted to do something with that, that's definitely fine. And I get that where life is gonna life, you got things that you got to do, so do them. But work with the energies. Know that there may be a bit of a shift when the moon moves into Pisces, but this could be a great time to just kind of go with them, maybe do some deep breathing, making sure that you're getting some extra rest during this time, any sort of like something to just like kind of break up the day, just to check in with yourself. But I like to think too, I'd like to think of it as a reflective period, as like what happened while the moon was in Aquarius. And especially when we're talking about with Venus, with this aspect that happened. Because when you think about a square in general, the squares are Martian in nature. They're when the planets are 90 degrees apart from one another, and it can bring about this sense of action, this frustration, this irritation possibly. There's this antsiness that's that's happening, that's just needing to, something's needing to move here. And when we're thinking about Venus, and especially when we're talking about Aquarius, because both of them are in fixed signs, Maybe you've been wanting to attract this dream again, that North Star. And what has been, if you've not been attracting the things that you've wanted, has it been maybe the environment that you've been around? Has it been a lot of like conversations that have been sowing in their own, that other people's doubts that maybe you've taken on as your own? That's something I feel to kind of take to consideration when we're talking about a square with Venus. What's getting in the way of you, yeah, getting in the way of your dreams? Maybe you can see these like when I was talking about those Venusian things, you may think of them as like frivolous or things like that. But when you get your hair done, for example, then you're feeling attractive. You feel confident in what you're doing. Or when you buy that new set of clothes for, let's say, an interview, possibly, even just get like, let's say, a new tie or a new dress or something like that. It gives you this energy of like, this is mine. I'm about to get this thing. And so that's where I feel like this square, it's just like taking little things, these little steps to help you attract more of what you're wanting. And to pay attention to how, like I was saying earlier, like if we're speaking and focusing on the things that we don't want, then that's what we're going to continue to attract. So it's just like, how do we redirect those energies, shift that to the opposite polarity, and bring in those types of things that we're wanting, as opposed to maybe if you're in a more sort of like undesirable energy. So those would be some things that I would say to working with this void of course energy. And I think that's all I got for you there. So let's go ahead and switch over. Now, last couple things before we get into these readings. If you're wanting to work with the moon more intentionally, or just work with your chart more intentionally, maybe you want to do just like get familiar with your natal chart. Maybe you want to join this new moon these new moon groups that I start up every month, or get familiar with like your solar return. Maybe you have your Libra sun or sun in Libra, maybe your birth got sun in Scorpio. We're getting about to come up on Scorpio season here soon. But whatever this is looking like, your lunar return, I have, well, the lunar return link I'm creating. But down in the description box below, I have a list for all the services that I provide. So if any of those types of things resonate with you, they're there for you. So definitely check that out. And I think that's it. So with all that being said, last little things, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings. So apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And before we get into this, I'm going to ring this bell to bring in some good vibes. So adjust your volume if you need to. But let's give this a ring, and then let's get into it. All right, let's get into this thing. Oh, look at this. Look, you're taking charge. So you got the Stag Spirit card here for your general energy of the day. And this is a card of take the lead. And when I'm just thinking about that modality that Aquarius is in, that masculine energy. And when I say masculine, I don't mean just like man. I mean more so that yang energy, that active energy. And this is giving me Emperor vibes. This is giving me, if you have this, and if you have an idea, if you have an intention that you're wanting to take place, take the lead. This is something where you could have this idea. This is almost giving me this energy of, I'm thinking about how the sort of like stereotypical sort of like the waiter waitress waiting in the restaurant to be discovered for their book or their voice or whatever that is, but it's being too passive. I feel like this is a time, this energy is saying like, let's be more aggressive. Let's more start doing the things that we want to. Maybe if you have dreams of singing, maybe start going to book some gigs, possibly. See if there are any venues and things that are offering like sort of like different ways for you to perform. Or this could be where if you're wanting to, if you've been noticing that you've been feeling maybe a little sluggish in the body, well then what are some ways that you can get moving? Maybe you want to take a dance class, or maybe you want to take a yoga class. Maybe you're wanting to get into acting. Let's go ahead and look for some classes, maybe watch some videos. What are some things to look for? But this is an energy where that discipline with Saturn is coming in. I feel like this is definitely not waiting for for life to just happen. You received the dream, you received the intention from spirit, but now it's time to take that faith in action. It's like, oh, speaking of dancing, I just got this image of just like you waltzing with or whatever your jam is, maybe like the foxtrot, maybe we're break dancing, but it's you taking the lead now. It's like, okay, you've learned the steps, now show me, how do you want this idea to move? Very interesting. Let me get some tarot on this and get some details. Thank you, Spirit. Now let's see what's going on here. Okay. Holy big papa! So you have the Hanged Man, which is Neptune energy. You have the Princess of Swords, the Fortune card, which is the Wheel of Fortune. That's Jupiter. Then you have the Queen of Cups. That's us, Cancer. And then the Three of Pentacles here, or the Three of Discs. And look at this card. This is a card of works. This is a card, you have the elements that you need. The mercury, the sulfur, the salt. And now it's time to build that pyramid. I feel like this pyramid here, it's like you getting a bird's eye view of your dream. But this is Mars and Capricorn. Actually, and that's one of the dice that for my other videos that I do. That's what I actually roll for this, and it's in the first house actually, which is the house of new beginnings. So that even is giving me, even that is kind of saying there's this activeness that's going on here. I feel you've received, with the Hanged Man to the Queen of Cups, you've received the downloads that you can with this. You have the intentions, you have the resources in order to do this. But now the Queen of Cups in this deck, she's the queens represent water, and the cups, of course, are water. So the Queen of Cups is the watery part of water. And water has this receptive nature, and she's impressionable to the other influences of the cards around her. So she's attracting this fortune. She's ready to achieve her abundance, but there's something here with just like, if you think on something too long, or if you let it just like, again, if it just stays in an idea, you start to lose that momentum. If we're staying in this tree, eventually we have to come down from this Hanged Man situation here and put in that initiative. And this may be something with this three of discs. Maybe you're needing some sort of help. Maybe you're needing some sort of assistance, but you're just like, it's like you're expecting maybe others to notice that there's a struggle here, as opposed to voicing the fact that you need this, whatever this assistance may be. Maybe you're not sure what resource you want to look to. Maybe you want to look into this person, but it's just like, am I making the right investment? But even then, it's just like, you'll never know until you try. I'm thinking about where one story that I like talking about, there was an astrologer that I used to watch, and they're a great astrologer, but there was a point where I had found that the way that we approach things were very different, and like the thoughts weren't necessarily resonating with me anymore. And so I had to take the lead and shift and look out to find some others. And it is sort of like this life is just like a trial and error sometimes, but I don't think of it as this Princess of Swords is maybe getting in our heads as far as like, well, what if I fail? What if I go down the wrong path? Well, then you learn something. And there's no wrong path. I feel like when you're taking initiatives, it's always going to teach you something. There's always going to be a silver lining with this. There's always going to be fortune. Always going to be expansion, because you don't know what you don't know until you know, you know? And so with this, I feel it's like Spirit has given you, yeah, again, it's giving you the tools and giving you the things that you're needing. So now there's no need to just stay in that Queen of Cups energy anymore. I feel like it now, the Queen of Cups is needing some heat. She's needing to, yeah, something more, because, yeah, something more active here, something more kind of princess of swords. And it may, how you go about it, her background is a little chaotic. It may not be the prettiest at first, but you will refine this thing to where you're looking like this elegant stag spirit, looking like becoming a point of reference at some point. It's just like, oh, Cancer, let me get some more on this. And Big Papa's being retrograde right now. This is a great time to just see where, you know what, okay, where can I improve these lessons, that wherever Jupiter happens to be transiting for you, whatever intention that you're setting, yeah, how can I work with this expansion if I haven't been growing in the ways that I wanted to? There we go. There's a little more active energy. Okay, we'll throw that one in there too. Thank you, Spirit. Got another queen here. Got the Queen of Swords, the Five of a lot of swords, the Five of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and then the Six of Cups here. Now, this Six of Cups to the Five of Swords here, I'm getting for some that there's something like this. It could be this fear of defeat, possibly, because that's what the Five of Swords can be. Or there's something that's interfering with the pleasure of something that's getting in the way of this, of your fortune here. Something that's, what's the word I'm looking for? Clogging up, there we go, clogging up this dream here. It's like the Seven of Cups can, I'm thinking about in the Rider White, there's like all these options that this person is looking towards, and it's like we're letting this kind of analysis paralysis get in the way. And you know, I'm even got a message here of maybe we're not sure what we're feeling, as far as like what we want to take the lead on. So we're feeling something with the Queen of Cups, like you're wanting something you're wanting abundance, of course, you're wanting things to change, but it's just like, what is that? And maybe it's just like we're just feeling too much about it, we're thinking too much about it, or something along those lines. And this Four of Swords to the Queen of Swords the Queen of Swords is thrown on a throne of clouds here. She's got this head in her hand. She's the liberator of the mind. She's at peace. It's like, I feel like it's like, don't think too hard about what your passions are or what you want to improve on. Because the Five of Swords here too, maybe you've had this idea in something, or someone may have said something, or you read something that just brought in this doubt, that brought in. Because I feel when the only way that we're defeated is when we don't try. It's the failures are not failures. You know, like those things don't define you, because you wouldn't have known what you needed to know until you took that action here. And this Four of Swords, you just made me to make a truce with that. Maybe make a pact with failure and just form a different relationship with it. You know, like not let the maybe traditional definitions of this define you, or something along those lines. That's another thing that's coming through there. Let me get a little bit more with this Four of Swords here. Something about by even putting your anxieties to rest. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so the Four of Swords is clarified by the Page of Moons here. And I find there's something here with when you get that initial feeling, when you get that intuitive hit, just again, this is like making peace that you know that you're going to figure this thing out, that you'll be able to intuit this as you go along, that you'll get to this place of, because the Queen of Cups, she's throned on this this pond here. Everything is calm, everything is quiet, everything, she's in this place of zen because she trusts in source, she trusts in spirit. She's seen and felt everything, what this is going to feel like, or what and how accomplished she's going to feel when she gets to this. And maybe this is just like this Page of Moons is just like returning back to the roots of that, remembering when this idea was just the purity of the idea before maybe things got a little murky, got a little just kind of gunked up and things along those lines. But oh, I'm even just looking at this crown here that the Queen of Swords has. She's got this child's, there's just like she's coming from like a childlike mind that's coming on here too. Again, the innocence of thought before like the doubts in things are coming in. Think about when you ask a child what they want to do, they shoot for the moon. They're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and there's nothing that you can do to tell them otherwise. And it's like, and why would you want to tell them to do otherwise, other than to achieve their dreams? And I feel like it's just, yeah, returning to maybe even that state of innocence, to remember that initial pact that you made with yourself, possibly here. Yeah, something bigger coming from that, and you're not letting it take the joy out of your intention here. Let's get some advice from Saturn. Okay. Thanks, Spirit. So your last card here, you have the Prince of Disc here, and then let's switch back over, because I was thinking this is very interesting. There's no wands here. There's no kind of heat that's happening right now. The active energy is the swords, and I feel this Prince of Disc here is, it's not that you necessarily maybe, when I'm saying like returning to that initial feeling, it's just like you had the plan, you were doing this thing, but maybe something got in the way, possibly, or maybe what you thought was a failure or something like that. It's just like there's a need to shift up the mind and the feelings here, something along those lines. Let me get some more of that Prince of Disc. Let me get a clarifier with him. Spirit. Okay, so the Prince of Disc is clarified by the Seven of Stars, which is the Seven of Pentacles, and the Four of Moons, which is the Four of Cups. And you see how this hand is just like it's grabbing this moon here in the center. I feel like it's you've received the plan with this from the Four of Cups to the Seven of Stars. You've received this intention, this intuitive download, and it's just like the Seven of Stars can be where it's just maybe you're needing to be patient right now, take the lead, and it's just like maybe it's like taking the lead, but releasing the expectation of how this plan is going to come to fruition, how things are going to come to play here. Because I get, maybe there's no wands here because there's nothing to force. It's just like you have these things that you're working with, but it's just like the Four of Moons gives me, maybe we're even like grabbing that moon, maybe we're just too focused on the one moon that we're missing other things around it. The messages, the intuitive messages are getting mixed up, or we're like crossing wires here, or something along those lines. So, but stay steadfast with this Prince of Disc. Stay focused on where we're like where we're going towards, and maybe it's just like less of how you're going towards it. It's going to things are going to start making more sense, or yeah, something like that. So you can take that how it may resonate here. And I know we were talking about this. I just got like a slow and steady. I mean, I know that was like the title for the Scorpio Moon one, and yeah, just allow. It's like things are unfolding. They are when try not to let the fact that I got like a visual of like a bud, like a little flower bud just popping out of the ground. It's gonna become a flower. There's no need to stress, because you could be like, oh my gosh, the flower's not here yet, but it is. It's sprouted. It's like maybe we're expecting this wheel of fortune to be like ching 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 ching, but it's just like sometimes the growth can be just like little things. Okay. But keep the work, keep the effort. Yeah. All right, but I think I'm gonna leave that there. So, if anything resonated with you, if you like that, give it a thumbs up, and share this if you know someone who would receive some messages from this, some wisdom from this. And subscribe there, Queen of Cups. Hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each day. And then last little bit. If you want to know what's going on in the cosmos outside of the moon, come over to my other channel, Alchemist State, where I do weekly videos talking about just that. And I also do different videos, speaking of those dice I was talking about, I do different videos talking about different planets in different signs in different house systems, or in different houses. So, and I have them all grouped by playlist there, so you can, and I just do them based off, well, I guess there is a rhyme or reason. I roll the dice, and whatever pops up, that's what I talk about. So, and all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card of cards here, so I can get you out of here. Thank you, Spirit. We got a couple here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you have the Mycelium card here, which is a card of interdependence and support for life. Ooh, and then you got a special card here. You have the Electrons card here, which is a card of building blocks of the universe. And look at this eye. Eye on the prize. Take the lead. And sometimes, that's interesting. It's like I got this sometimes this building blocks, it's like taking that take the lead. What am I getting with this? Yeah, one thing I got, it's like you don't the buildings are, or the foundation is being built. You just have to keep going. It's like that faith in action. Spirit is building the stairs for you to get to this goal that you're getting to your fortune here. And this Mycelium card is, it's that interdependence. It's like there's a balance that's happening here. It's like we're not just expecting to receive all of these things, but we have to take some sort of action towards it too. When you get the building blocks for whatever universe you're building, there's this co-creation that is needing to happen with Spirit. Spirit's not. If I just sat here and it was just like, why aren't people coming to my channel? But I'm not doing any videos or anything along that. I just created the channel. It's just like, why don't I have 1 million subscribers, or whatever that's looking like. Then because there's something else, there's something that's needed. It's not even that it's missing, it's just there's a little something extra that's being needed right now. It's just I'm getting everyone and everything plays its part. Or, it's like it's like when you receive. I remember as a kid, I would play with these Bionicles, and you get the things, you dump it out. It doesn't come completed. You have to build this thing. It is like universes. You've received those tools, and now it's just like, why aren't you this cool figure? What are you doing? And then that's kind of what universe is asking. Like, what are you doing? I've given you all these cool tools. Do something with them. Take the lead. The plan is laid out for you. You got instructions. It's there for you, and you'll figure it. You'll intuit, and you'll figure it out as you're going. Things will see, and just things will become clearer as you start going more. We're working towards that full moonlight here. We're in the gibbous phase, but there's still a sliver of light that's needing to be filled there. So very interesting here. But that's all I got for you. So until next time, keep raising that consciousness and keep eyes on the moon. And I will catch you on the next one Sunday.